Yo, what's up guys? Hope you guys are doing well. So in this video, I want to share with you guys some of the semi-long-term effects that I've experienced as a result of taking ayahuasca and going through the integration process. Close it off with a few tips for any of you guys that might be going through the integration process yourself or are just curious to know what can benefit you during the integration process. So I'm gonna start with the emotional changes that I experienced. And I used to be someone who had a lot of anxiety, especially social anxiety. Anxiety kind of just went down by at least 90% because I realized that what was happening to me was that in social situations, I wanted to express myself, but then the mind would come in and stop me and be like, well, if you express yourself this way, what if they think you're weird? What if they react in a certain way? What if? And then I just end up not expressing myself at all. And I kind of just close off and don't really say anything. But then I realized that I was kind of dishonoring who I truly am. You know, why close off? Let me just express myself and we'll see how they react. We'll both find out how they're gonna react in real time instead of just being trapped by all these what ifs and not expressing myself at all. So anxiety went down so much in social situations. I feel a lot more comfortable. I feel free to be me. And that was really nice to experience. Another emotional change that I went through was fear decreased by a lot. I used to make a lot of decisions based on fear, what I like to call fear-based decision making. It kept me at jobs and really it kept me doing things in general that I really wasn't vibing with, things that I couldn't derive any meaning from, but I just kept doing it out of fear. So after the fear decreased like drastically, I was able to let go of my financially comfortable job and be on the journey that I'm on right now, which is exploring other paths and exploring what I truly want to experience in life. So that's been great. That honestly has been one of the best decisions I've ever made, as scary as it was at the time. But going in line with the topic of fear, you know, I was letting fear control me for most of my life, and then now it's just like once fear is gone, I can really explore who I truly am without fear. I'm even learning how to longboard, and I used to be so afraid of like falling and busting my ass, but you know, it's just fun now and I'm having a great time doing it. So life has been beautiful without fear. The last emotional change that I experienced is guilt. I have zero guilt now. You know, I still have like an inkling of anxiety sometimes. I still have an inkling of fear sometimes, but guilt, completely gone. I didn't realize how much I was controlled by the feeling of guilt in the past, but now I realize that there's no need to feel guilty. I feel like in this world, we've been taught at a very young age that it's bad to be self-centered, it's bad to be selfish, but really it's been mislabeled. It's not selfish, it's self-love. Right? I'm choosing to be myself. I'm doing things for myself because I deserve love. And I learned that throughout the integration process, like it's okay to choose myself, because what I was doing in the past was that, again, I was kind of dishonoring myself in the sense that I was doing things for other people. I was being overly considerate at the expense of my true self. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm making decisions based on myself. And honestly, like there are times where I'll say or do something that ends up hurting someone as a result of not holding my tongue, as a result of just being myself. But because I care about that person and I saw that I hurt that person, it kind of hurted me. You know, I recognized that, I asked for forgiveness, and then I forgive myself, and then I don't hold myself hostage to who I was a moment ago. It's already forgiven, and that's that. You just let it go, and then you can recreate yourself anew so that next time I can express myself differently, as opposed to just not expressing yourself at all, afraid of offending people or afraid of rubbing someone the wrong way. I found that it was better to just put it out there. And if it doesn't feel right after you've expressed it, you know, instead of repressing it, you express it. If it doesn't feel right after expressing it and you end up hurting someone, you can apologize, ask for forgiveness, and then you move on. You know, that way I'm kind of just like flowing with life and I'm not repressing, and it feels amazing. The next category of changes I want to talk about with you guys is the mental changes that I've experienced. Coming back, I was very calm. I was very relaxed. My rhythm slowed down a lot, and I was very, very present. I wasn't worrying about the future. I wasn't dwelling in the past. The present moment was just so perfect, and it felt so euphoric that I don't have to escape to the past, or I don't have to worry about the future. Like, everything is just perfect. And one of the major realizations I came across during my integration process was that I am not my thoughts. I want to see if I can try to explain this well. When I had thoughts in the past, and you can think of it as like a train of thought, I was in the front row seat of that train, and I was letting this train take me for a ride of fearful thoughts or anxious thoughts or just any type of thoughts. But during the integration process, there was a moment where I realized that there's so much more depth to thought now. And what I mean by that is, instead of being so deeply ingrained and identified with that thought, like I'm having this thought and it's in my head, instead of being so deeply ingrained with it and identified with it, I can kind of create a distance and just whoosh, and I'm just like now observing my thoughts. I'm not so deeply in that train of thought. I'm just observing the thought. I'm just watching the thought. And then that created this realization that, like, oh shit, I'm not my thoughts. I'm the awareness observing the thoughts. So then I started to see that, oh, your mind is a tool. You know, you can use this tool to help you navigate through life, instead of having this tool take you out on a crazy ride of anxious, worrisome, fearful thoughts. I was able to see what my mind likes to do. This one time I was driving, and then I had a thought pop up. Yeah, what if you don't make enough money? What if you can't take care of your parents? What if your friends just leave you or whatever? So many different thoughts started popping up all at once, and they were all vying for my attention. And this was during the integration process. So I snapped out of it. I was like, whoa, what the hell? Like, what am I doing? Like, there's so many different thoughts that's just pulling my attention in all these different directions. It felt very noisy. It felt very dysfunctional. So I started picking up meditation to kind of hone this tool that is my mind, so that it doesn't control me. And, this helped me a ton. I've made my mind my home. This voice in my head, these voices that used to say, you're not good enough, Z, you're ugly as shit, all these things, I've turned that voice into my biggest ally, my best friend. And this voice now is like very supportive. So yeah, make sure your mind is a nice place to be. Before you worry about your physical home, worry about your mental home. This is the most important home, and you can create a really, really nice place for yourself to dwell in. Another mental change that I experience is judgment. I don't judge myself nearly as much. I don't judge other people. I don't judge events as good or bad. It's just, I've adopted this mentality of it is what it is, right? Like before, I would see myself through the lens of good or bad. When I thought a certain way, or when I am a certain way, I'm like, oh, that's good. Oh no, that's bad. You gotta repress that. You gotta kind of extract the bad parts of yourself and get rid of it, But now there's just this greater acceptance of who I am. I am what I am. You cannot just simply label someone as good or bad as if that fully defines them. We're so much more complex than just a binary label of good or bad. We're multifaceted. We're multidimensional. We're so much richer than just binary, good or bad. That's not to say I don't want to make certain changes in the world. I definitely do. I definitely still want to make changes within myself, but there's no need to label it as good or bad. I just want to change it because I want to change it. I just skip the middleman, the middle process of labeling it as bad, and therefore I want to change it. It's just, it is what it is. I don't vibe with it anymore, so I'm gonna change it. Like just that. Good or bad never even comes into my mind, and that's nice. It's really freeing to not have to look the world and myself through the lens of good or bad. I just am what I am. And going in line with the topic of judgment, I also don't mind as much what people will think of me, because I realized that people are going to think what they think. So, I'm going to be myself, and by me being myself, some people are going to love me, some people are going to like me, some people are going to dislike me, some people are going to fucking hate me. And that's that. That's how it's meant to be. Not everybody's supposed to like you. Not everybody's supposed to be your friend. Not everybody can appreciate you. That's why there's so many different people. That's why there's so many different perspectives, because you will always find someone that does appreciate you. And that's good enough, man. The last mental change I want to talk about is comparison. I used to compare myself to people a lot, in a sense of how much I make versus how much they make, how much I own versus how much they own, where I'm at in life versus where they are at in life. And sometimes based on these comparisons, based on who I'm comparing myself to, it would put me down, and sometimes it would prop me up. But it's just all relative, right? And there's really no need to compare, because my path and my journey and the pace in which I grow in is uniquely mine. Just like your path, your journey, and the pace that you grow in is uniquely yours. There's never a need to compare, because we're incomparable. We're all so different, and we're all on our own journey. So comparison doesn't really make any sense, unless I can see it making sense if you use it as a way to motivate yourself, but not so much as a way to make yourself feel like you're not enough, So yeah, comparison went away, and it's been really nice too. And now I want to give you guys some tips for the integration process that I personally found helpful. On the last day at the retreat, the facilitator told us that the ayahuasca ceremonies themselves constitute about 20% of the healing, 20% of your journey. The other 80% is going home and integrating what you learn. And I was like, no way, 20%? Like, come on, it has to be more than that. But they weren't kidding. Like, it really was a lot of work left after I come back. I spent most of this video basically talking about all the positive changes that I experienced from, going through ayahuasca, going through integration. But it was really tough. I was vomiting. There were times where I felt like I was losing my mind. There's one time I vomited and I felt the effects of ayahuasca kick in again. And this was like 2 months after I've taken ayahuasca, and I was still feeling it. It came up and I was like, oh shit. And I felt my mind start to slip again. And I was just like, oh my God, please, please, please. This cannot be happening. I cannot be losing my mind here right now. Like, out in the jungle, still kind of wacky, but here in America, my home, where people recognize me and shit, I'm not trying to lose my mind here. So that was quite jarring, quite scary. And all that is to say, it's still a challenge during the integration process, but there's always something to be gained through these challenges. There's always something to be learned through these challenges, and you become stronger after you overcome each and every one of those challenges, and you can start to live life a bit more fully, a bit more complete after you overcome these challenges and heal a part of yourself. So that's, I guess, a disclaimer. It's not going to be sunshine and roses after ayahuasca. During the integration process, you might go do some shit, but you'll be okay. And that's where my first tip comes in for integration, which is, if you went to a retreat, try to make some friends. Try to stay in contact after the fact. I have a group of friends who now we're really close friends, and I consider them my soul family. We stay in contact every week. We talk every single week. And in fact, we run a podcast together called Mama's Boys, where we just talk about spirituality and the depths of the human experience together. And when I was going through my challenges, and when they were going through their challenges, we would hit each other up. Like, hey, I'm having a rough time right now. Can we talk? And integration will be tough. But if you have someone where you can share what you're going through with, it's going to make it that much easier. And especially sharing it with someone who has been through an ayahuasca experience. Because I can share it with my loved ones, my family, whoever, but they never taken ayahuasca. So they can only understand to such a degree. If you have someone who has genuinely experienced ayahuasca, they can empathize at a deeper level. So it's really important, I think, to find people to connect with and stay in touch with after the experience. Another tip is to take your time being alone after coming back from ayahuasca, especially when it comes to friend circles. Like, don't just immediately jump back to your friend circle and connect with everybody. I know that's very tempting to do because you probably miss them and all these things, but just take some time to be alone so that you can really process what you just went through and what it truly means to you and what you want to do and who you want to be moving forward. You don't have to worry about who you are as a person in relation to your friends by hanging out with them. Just don't hang out with them. Just figure out who you are, who you want to be, and then you can slowly introduce yourself to your friend circle. That's what I did, and honestly, it was super, super helpful. And when I finally did introduce myself back into my friend circle, I felt like a brand new person, you know, and I just missed my friends so much. And then it felt right. It felt great. I forgot to mention here that I also found it really helpful to have a couple days of buffer before I return back to work. It helps with integration if you don't immediately jump back into work after a deep healing experience. Although I will say this is unique to me, this whole integration process and what has helped me, right? This is another disclaimer where your integration process and your healing journey will be uniquely yours. And me sharing this is simply showing you what is possible, but not what is definitely going to happen to you. Your journey, once again, is going to be very unique to you. So just want to put that disclaimer out there so that I don't set your expectations that you're going to experience and learn all these different things. You're different, I'm different, but I'm happy to share my experience so you get an idea of what could possibly happen. A lot of the topics and subjects that I mentioned in this video, less fear, less guilt, being more self-centered in the sense of having more self-love for yourself. I might make videos in the future to talk about these in more detail because each of those topics I can go very deep in. But in this video, I kind of just wanted to give an overarching idea of what changes I went through. But for now, I'm just gonna leave this as it is. Again, like my videos tend to run long, but this is just kind of, I guess, my style of expressing myself. I have a lot that I want to share and get it out there. So if you're at this point in the video, even if you're not at this point in this video, if you like clicked off 10 seconds, I appreciate you. Seriously, like every little bit of attention you have gifted my way is more than I can ever ask for. So thank you so much. I hope this video has been helpful in some way. And if you want me to dive deep on specific topics, put it down in the comment section below. Let me know which topics. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Peace. Oh my God.
Yeah, whoever's watching, who went up, down, around, back up, and back down. What the fuck? Over and under.
Oh my God. Holy shit. We did it though.
Yeah, we did.
Fuck.
Oh my God, we fucking did it.